The amount of work required to turn a stranger into a customer is massive. Google actually published a study that shows on average it takes 7 hours of content from 11 different touch points across 4 different locations before a prospect is ready to become a customer. The problem is that most people do this manually. They manually explain their service, they manually qualify the prospects, so they make it hard to buy their service. Let me show you what this looks like. Here's your typical sales process. On the left-hand side, you have a total stranger. And what most people do is they send this total stranger a cold email. And they open the email and spend about 5 minutes reading the email, but they don't respond. So then the person sends them another cold email. This stranger opens up the email again, reads it for 5 minutes, and does not respond. But then again, this person sends another cold email. This person's opened the email, reads it again for 5 minutes, and does not respond. But at this point, the person that's sending the cold emails thinks that because they've opened the email 3 times, they must be interested in buying their service. So they cold call them and they spend 12 minutes on the phone with the prospect trying to convince them to get on a sales call with them in order to sell their services. And let's say this person is an excellent cold caller because they're just hitting the phones and they are dialing the numbers. And let's say they actually convince them to get on a discovery call then. Well, then on the discovery call, you spend 24 minutes still not explaining your service, what you do, what makes you different from your competitors, what the benefit is for the prospect, but instead you're just qualifying them to see if it's even worth your time or the business owner's time in this example to get on the call to speak with them. And let's say that after the discovery call, you finally get them on a demonstration call and you're all geared up and ready to go to explain to them exactly how you can help them and what separates you from your competition. And after about 10 to 15 minutes in, the person says, you know what, I don't think this is for me. I gotta go. Let me go talk to my partner about it. And they totally ghost you. The total exposure of content in this example here is about 1 hour. And like I said earlier, we need roughly 7 hours to convince someone to become a buyer. This is the old way of client acquisition. The old way is, in essence, anything that requires the prospect to speak with someone before learning more information. That's because today, 70% of prospects choose the company that they're going to work with before they speak to a sales rep. So our sales process should reflect this. This is what I call the new way of client acquisition. Let me show you what it looks like. So here's our typical sales process, and on the left-hand side, you have your stranger. Except for now, we're going to switch the frame, and instead of sending cold emails to this person, we're actually going to create a long-form ad and video that we're going to put on one of the advertising platforms that takes them about 12 minutes to read. Once they click on that ad, they're going to go directly to a video sales letter page. And this is an incredibly well-crafted video sales letter that's about 90 minutes long. Now, I know most of you think that there's no way you could create a video that's 90 minutes long and your prospect would watch it, but you would be surprised. The reason why most people don't have successful long-form video sales letters is because simply they suck. They're too boring, they're too dry. When these same people you're saying aren't watching your 90-minute videos are going home and watching House of Cards or Game of Thrones or whatever else is on Netflix right now for hours at a time. So it is possible to have somebody consume over 90 minutes of your content in one sitting. You just have to do it correctly. In this example here for a video sales letter, we would explain who we are, what our service is, what our mission is, what makes us different, case studies, testimonials, what separates us from our competition, the benefits that we have from our products and services, what they're going to get out of it, some objection they may have. We're going to price anchor all of this inside this video sales letter. And if we do the video sales letter correctly, they're going to book a call to speak with us. And once they book the call on the thank you page, we're going to give them even more content to consume. Typically, I like to put testimonials on the thank you page because this is a great opportunity for them to get even more pre-sold before they get on a call with your sales team. And then before they get on the call with your sales team, we're also going to send them what I call pre-call material. So this is a few additional videos that you keep tucked away that aren't publicly available. Only for those that book a call with you will they be able to access it. So we have an automation that gets sent out when somebody books a call. We send them these special additional pieces of content that does a lot of what the video sales letter does, but a lot more in depth. And that'll take about 30 minutes to consume. Then at this point, it's not uncommon, and I have the research to prove this, that someone's going to go online and look up your name or your company's name. That's one of the reasons I actually created this YouTube channel, was because I learned that a lot of people, when they were getting on the call with us, said that they had seen our ad, but they did additional research online before speaking with us. And instead of them typing in our name on Google and really not finding anything, I decided decided to start creating a few years ago a massive amount of content. That way there's a library of information that somebody can go through before they get on the call to speak with us. And I know you're thinking, oh, I don't want to create all this content, and you really don't have to if you don't want to, but the closer we can bring these people to the 7 hours, the better off we are. And if you remember what I said earlier about the 7 hours across 11 touch points and 4 locations, that means that all of that stuff can't come just from your sales funnel. It needs to come from different websites like YouTube or Instagram, or even third-party websites like Trustpilot. And then after they consume your content, they're actually going to show up to the demonstration call. And you'll see in this example here, we actually don't have a discovery call. And that's because we use automated ways to pre-qualify people, like an automated application that will tell somebody if they're a good fit or not before they even book the call and route them accordingly. And so we don't waste anybody's time by having to get them on 2 calls just to learn what we do. Instead, we keep it on 1 call, just 60 minutes long. And at this point, they already know so much about who we are, what we do, and the success that we've had, that it's a much more serious conversation about what specific pains they're experiencing and if we can help them alleviate those pains. And finally, you guessed it, the nice part about this is that they become a paying client. So in some ways, we've extended out the sales process, but we've done it in the right way, in a way that doesn't require any more of my time and allows those prospects to consume the additional information on their time. And in this example here, it's about 4.7 hours of exposure. Now, of course, that's not 7 hours, but it is a heck of a lot closer to 7 than our previous example when it was just 1 hour. Now, this is just one example of what I call the new way of client acquisition, and there are many others. You could even replace the ads in this example I just gave you with a cold email. It's possible to do cold email or cold messaging in this new way of client acquisition. The lesson here is that you want to spend some time before you launch your lead generation campaign creating assets that your prospects can consume to learn more information about you and your services before they book their sales call. This can be video sales letters, YouTube videos, or even written content on your website. Because if they don't get this information from you, they're going to get it from your competitors. If you want to get access to these graphics I covered in this YouTube video, be sure to click the link in the description down below. Also, check out this video on how we're generating leads through LinkedIn Sales Navigator.